Hey there everyone, welcome back to part 3 of the Tamiya 1/12 scale RE20 Renault Formula 1 car. So, part 3, it's been a little bit of a gap since part 2, and that's kind of, well, it's entirely my fault. Of course it is. It's my channel. Uh, so a little bit of holiday, a little bit of work, just kind of kept me away from the bench, kept me away from video editing for a few weeks. However, we're back. Part 3 is here. So part 3, bit of an odd one because I kind of started going through the footage and realized I was cleaning up some of the engine parts, and then actually realized I needed to crack on with the remainder of the kind of front suspension and steering and get the kind of brakes and brake ducts and stuff, and basically get more of the front end done, but also get the seat done, steering wheel, so a few bits like that. So it's a collection of a few smaller bits that kind of build on the work that was done on the chassis and monocoque in part 2. So let's head on over to the bench and kick on with it, because it's not the longest video, so you don't want to listen to me for an excessive amount of time. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the video. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. But how's ever, let's jump on over and let's catch up with what's going on in part 3.
So I'm starting part 3 with the seat being primed. Been primed in UMP black. I think I end up leaving it in UMP black actually. So the colour call out for this was TS5, but the UMP black seemed to work perfectly well. Not quite as shiny as some of the semi-gloss black parts in X18 or LP5, but just not quite fully matte. So nicely different. So just left in that semi-gloss black. So all the seatbelt hardware in this kit is plastic. So that was primed in black and then sprayed in. Just check my notes. Probably one of the LP colours. Yeah, I think it's in gloss aluminium. So seatbelts come in a kit. They're the self-adhesive fabric type from Tamiya. They do work quite well. I think the edges of them don't quite stand up to handling as much as real ribbon, so they can look a little bit more frayed once you've kind of handled and manipulated them. They do lose their adhesiveness a little bit after handling, which could be a problem, so just watch out for that. You might need to use some double-sided tape. But overall, the instructions are very, very clear. Clear on the dimensions, clear on all the folds, and they do look very, very effective as a set of seatbelts for a 1980s Formula 1 car. Seatbelt hardware in plastic, even though it's sprayed in a good kind of LP or Alclad metallic, you can tell they're plastic. They don't quite have the refinement of photo etch or metal parts. But in 12 scale, you kind of need the 3D effect as well, so may be better in like a cast metal. But they look all right nonetheless. So just doing a quick test fit, see how that seat fits in, see if it slots into place, and it does. So once that's done, it's time to start work on the steering wheel and the A-frame for the steering wheel and instrument cluster, a few bits like that. Plenty of cleanup. I have been using this D-Spay reciprocating sander. I find it very, very good for sanding parts. It's not overly aggressive and does the job perfectly for me. So see, steering wheel parts, all primed in UMP black. A number of them will get done in various metallics. I think the A-frame is done in, I want to say dull aluminium from Alclad. No, I've done it in metallic grey, which is LP61. There we go. Instrument cluster with its decal in place, that gets popped in, super glued in place. And then it's a case of just following the assembly instructions, getting the main upper part of the frame in place, and CA glue to secure it to the monocoque. The steering wheel is then added as well. So that's a mix of LP5 or X18 and flat black as well. So these bodywork parts, which were done back in part 1, they have been flattened back and polished. The inside of them has been painted as well, and they just slot over the steering arms like so. So they do slot into place very, very nicely. The gloss on them has come out absolutely fantastic. Really pleased with how that's come out. Once again, just checking the seat still fits in. See how it's looking. That's beginning to look really good. So with that in place, I can start working on the brakes for the front. The brake ducts consist of a couple of parts for each side. You've got the main wheel hubs, the calipers, the discs. There is photo etch for the discs as well. And once again, I'm using the reciprocating sander to clean up any of the edges on these parts from a sprue. So once I'm happy with the cleanup, brake ducts can be glued together using some Tamiya Extra Thin. And the fit is spot on, as you'd expect from Tamiya. So once again, it's back on over to the spray booth to get some priming done. And as you can imagine, these brake parts are going to be predominantly in metallic colours. So it's, I think it's UMP Gloss Black I've used this time because I want a slightly different tone on the brake discs and on the hubs and calipers as well. Give a more real metallic feel to it because they are quite highly visible. And then it's back in with LP61 in the first instance. So that's going to do the kind of central core of the brake discs. Now don't forget, there's going to be photo etch going to go over the outside of these parts. So it's mainly for the cooling fins. And then the hub itself is going to be done in dull aluminium. And I think that's used on the brake calipers as well, actually. Yes, it would appear it was dull aluminium I went with. Now, trying out these Tamiya photo etch scissors, they don't work very well. Nonetheless, they get these pieces off their photo etch frame using a diamond file just to clean up any of the photo etch sprue remnants. The two parts of the brake disc can be glued together using some CA glue, and then the photo etch part can sit on top also using some CA glue. And that goes on very, very nicely and really looks the part, actually. Very pleased with how that's come out. So the hub itself is then screwed in. So that's screwed through the disc and through the hub and through the brake duct as well. So that will all get screwed together as one piece. And the head of that screw, because that's a machine screw, will sit through to the other side, and that's where the wheels will attach later. And that will give me some problems later, but we'll cover that towards the very back end of the build. So basically I don't have enough exposed thread to actually get the wheel nuts in place. But I didn't tell you that, and we won't see that until whatever part we get to when we get to the very final assembly. But nonetheless, it is screwing together. It all seems fine at this stage. Obviously, you go very careful when you're screwing. You don't want that screwdriver tip to slip and damage any of your paintwork. But once it's together, the brake calipers can be added. There is 2 sets calipers on each brake. And then the brake duct can be glued like so. So next step, of course, is getting the last of those front uprights in place so the entire hub assembly can be attached. So there is a screw that goes through the bottom of the upright and into the bottom of the brake assembly as well. But first and foremost, you need to get the steering arm and the upper arm located into place. But once that's done, a little bit of a push, careful not to break anything. The steering on this is never going to move, just a way I've pinned things together. Front left can go on. Okay, there's a tiny bit of movement in the steering. You need to get that alignment correct. And then the other side is done as well. So, final step for this part of the video is to get the radiators done. So once again, they've been removed from the sprue, cleaning them up with the reciprocating sander. I do find even with the most aggressive grit, this is actually not that aggressive. It's actually quite a good way to finish off your sanding. 2 halves for each radiator. Given the way they've been set out, it's easier to paint them separately. As you can see, I'm just figuring out at this stage, that's how I'm going to do it. So they've been primed in black, and that's UMP black, and now they're going to be sprayed in semi-matte aluminium. There is some photo etch, which is going to go on the front face of them. And once again, using the Tamiya photo etch scissors, which are not very good. Once again, using a glass file to clean up any of the remnants on the edges of the frame that the photo etch comes on. Once I'm happy with that, a little bit of CA glue, and that radiator face can go onto its respective radiator. It is a nice addition for Tamiya to add some photo etch. They probably could have added a lot more, but for basically a kit that was not far over £100, you still get a lot in this kit. There's a lot of building to be done. So, with both halves put together and the respective hoses added, the radiators themselves can be glued in place. There's locating points on the side of the monocoque and on that frame that went in part 2. As you can see, that slots in place. And with that step completed, that's part 3 completed.
So there we have it. That's part 3 complete. As you can see, we've gotten through the seat belts, steering wheel, the remainder of the front suspension, the lower arms, the brake discs, the brake calipers themselves. So all those bits have been nicely put together. Got some of the bodywork parts onto the front as well. So those kind of front fairing parts for around the upper arms and lower arms. So there we go. That's where part 3 is going to finish for the moment. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Feel free to leave a comment. And I'll see you all very, very soon in another video from the Tank Cave. So bye-bye for now.